Welcome in to the Flagship. It's Monday morning. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Joining me, Mr. Grayson Weir. What a weekend it was. You got coaching carousel. You've got Final Fours. You had man. I was unable to actually watch. I was listening on XM. No free ads, but XM, if you want to advertise, shout out or hit us up. I was listening via satellite radio on the way home from Oxford after the Elite 11 regional. Phenomenal women's championship game. Just a crazy back and forth game, and then South Carolina eventually put the stranglehold on the Iowa Hawkeyes, complete the undefeated run. And then as we record this on Monday morning tonight, it's what is it, 8 local time or something?
8:20 Central Time, which is just absurd.
It is. But also, all the people that live in Eastern time zone, hey, once again, you played yourself. Don't live in Eastern time zone. It is late. But Grayson, our fellow nutmegger, has got his UConn hat on. We'll get into that later on in the second segment. But first, we do need to remind you, this show and this studio is brought to you each and every episode, each and every day, 24/7, 365 by the good folks at College Corner. 4,000 plus square feet, Grayson, in Oxford, Mississippi, the brand new location. Go check them out. Sisk Avenue. They've got everything you need over there. And then if you're not in Oxford, if you're in Mississippi and you need to find another College Corner, you're in luck. They've got one in Flowood. They've got one in Ridgeland. And look, if you're listening, maybe you're a nutmegger as well. Maybe you're in Connecticut. If you can't get to Oxford or Flowood or Ridgeland, go to collegecornerstore.com. Massive sale right now going on at College Corner. Scott and the folks over there do a fantastic job, not only outfitting Ole Miss fans, but more importantly, just taking care of us and making this possible for us to come to you. But yeah, check them out. Collegecornerstore.com. If you missed any sale items, just hang around on the website. They've always got stuff popping up. They've got new hats, new t-shirts for baseball. They've got hoop and the sip gear. They've got Real Tree, all of that and more. collegecornerstore.com, or go to the brick and mortar at any of the 3 locations. All right, Grayson, it was a wild weekend. I was in and around Oxford, long extended stay, like a 4-day weekend. And a lot of conversations with several people in the industry, talked with some national folks, talked with some people around the Ole Miss program, talked with a few agents, just trying to get an idea of why Chris Beard would potentially leave Ole Miss for Arkansas. And look, the obvious answer is, well, Arkansas is a better job than Ole Miss. I don't think anyone who is being honest with themselves is going to argue that. Arkansas is a better basketball job than Ole Miss right now.
Right now.
Yeah. The issue from conversations that I had, and this was essentially corroborated with like everybody, the consensus was the same. The NIL concerns in Fayetteville and around that program were too much for Chris Beard.
Which is interesting.
It is, because you think, oh, Arkansas, Tyson Chicken, Walmart, you've got Jerry Jones,
JB
all
Hunt.
of that. I was talking with our boy Austin Gray over the weekend, and we were discussing it, and it's a weird, like, infighting with that fan base is weird, where you've got the Northwest Arkansas people, you got the Little Rock people, you got like the West Memphis, Central Arkansas type. Like, nobody in that fan base can be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's been like that for years. I don't know about decades, but it's been like that for a while, where everybody can't be on the same page. Where it's like, hey, everybody pull the rope in the same direction. We're all cheering for the same team here. And I don't know if it's like egos where it's like, well, I want my own collective. I don't want to do a collective with that guy because I don't like him. He's from Little Rock, or that person's from Crossit or Wynn. I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic in that fan base where they can't get on the same page. And I think that um, Eric Musselman had reservations about it, and that was part of the reason he wanted to get out. And I think most of that is Eric Musselman's ego. He wanted to go get the big job at SC and go to Los Angeles. He's gonna,
It fits him better.
yeah. And I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was our boy Whiskey Wednesday over at Red Cup that said, "quote He's about to do all the corny shit with Will Ferrell." Um, he's going to be cutting
You
promos.
say
He's
that
going to
like it's a
be
bad thing.
Will Ferrell in moderation, man. But I mean, yeah, like the media market, he's gonna love it because he does all that hokey goober stuff. He did all the photo shoots with the players, and he would wear like the Arkansas baseball uniform, and it just not my vibe. I think it's weird. I think it was also part like his wife wanted to get out of Fayetteville, get back to the West Coast.
Yeah, Danielle was pumped about Los Angeles.
Was she okay? So was she like a sideline courtside reporter, or was she like an on-air personality?
I don't really actually, that's a good question. I think it was more the former. I think she was like sideline
Okay, but
type deal.
yeah, but they're West Coast people. If you don't
Yeah.
know, Musselman got his start at Nevada, or maybe not his start, but like that's where he blew up and became a hot name. Um, I remember reading an article that was like, "Will Eric Musselman stay at Nevada forever, like Mark Few at Gonzaga?" And then he just goes to Arkansas. Um, But yeah, so look, as soon as Musselman and all that news, hey, he's going to SC to interview, the Trojans moved quickly, got it done. Good for them. And then Arkansas immediately pivots to Chris Beard, Jerome Tang, and Will Wade. I mean, dude, this weekend, 0 to 100, then back to 0, then to 500 for Arkansas.
Yeah.
You whiff on Chris Beard, Jerome Tang, Will Wade. I think it's dumb. There was some like show cause hesitation there, which okay, Will Wade
Really?
can't recruit. Like I think he's got one more year. Okay, who
Yeah.
cares? You have NIL.
Hmm.
It's not like Will Wade needs to be going into living rooms. Like just cut the check.
I mean, he recruited just fine at McNeese State.
Yeah. So first three, strike one, strike two, you're out. Go sit down. Arkansas people are just reeling. I mean, at one point it got to where the Hogs were interviewing Chris Jans from Mississippi State.
Hmm.
The Central Arkansas, the Little Rock coach was in the mix. Like his name is escaping me at the moment. And then, yeah, I mean, they were just trying to tread water. And then all of a sudden, Sunday night, boom, John Calipari.
And that came together fast. That was I don't think I've ever seen in like a coaching search or really anything in sports where it went from rumors to, oh, they're finalizing a deal that fast. I mean, it was like what, 7 p.m. ish that it was like, all right, hey, rumors are out there that Cal's talking to Arkansas. And then it was like 9 o'clock. It's like, boom, it's done. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Where did this come from?
Yeah.
And credit to him. I mean, John Tyson, this was one of the most like, I don't know if legendary or craziest moments in college basketball history where John Tyson literally just said, I'm done with this. We're not hiring Little Rock coaches Daryl Walker. We're not
Yeah.
hiring Daryl Walker. And he grabbed his Louis Vuitton, suitcase full of $100 bills, flew his way up to Lexington and said, hey, Cal, let's go. That unbelievable. I mean, 2-3 hour span there on Sunday night. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. I'll say this. I feel like you said Louis Vuitton. I kind of feel like John Tyson probably has a Vera Bradley bag that he puts money in. But yeah. I mean, good on him though. And then Hunter Yurachek was just catching strays all weekend, and then boom, John Calipari, which we talked about it already. Say what you want about recent success or lack thereof. One of the heaviest resumes in the game. I mean, the dude's been Like the list of people that have been to more Final Fours than Calipari, they're all in the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
And John Calipari is one of 2 coaches to take 3 programs to the Final Four.
Probably
He's,
soon to be 4.
yeah, he's got a title. So yeah, I mean, Arkansas got it done. Shout out to my buddy Trilly Donovan. I was talking to him throughout last week and weekend about the Chris Beard situation. He basically called it on Saturday.
He
Said,
did. He knows everything.
yeah, he said, hey, apparently Hunter Yurachek is trying to get Calipari, and then it just became very real within 24 hours. So, but look, we're not here to talk about Arkansas. We're going to talk about Chris Beard, and I think once again, just a massive, massive win for Keith Carter and the Ole Miss athletic department, fending off another SEC program for a head coach. We saw it a couple years ago with Lane Kiffin and Auburn. We don't know 100%, but I have a good idea that Lane Kiffin was pretty damn close to going to Auburn, and Ole Miss got it done, kept him in Oxford. 11 wins later, the hottest name in college football, one of the hottest programs in college football. College football playoff aspirations are very real for 2024. Then basketball. Ole Miss, again, look, nobody's going to disagree. Not the best basketball job, not the best basketball history. I mean, haven't been to a tournament in what, 11 years? Or, well, no, Kermit went once.
Yep.
But I mean, an
His
actual
first year.
tournament run that you win a game, 11 years, and you fend off Arkansas.
You did.
Pretty impressive. I mean, most people that I spoke with, either close with Chris Beard or people in the industry that know everybody, know agents. Again, the hangup was NIL because look, we can't bang this drum enough, Grayson. The Grove Collective is a respected entity in the NIL space. It is a top 5. I had an agent tell me that yesterday, that the Grove Collective is a top 5 collective.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. Walker Jones and everybody in charge over there, they're all, you talk about Arkansas people can't get on the same page, can't pull the rope in the same direction. Grove Collective does not have that issue. I think there was probably a re-up or maybe a little boost in NIL money to keep Chris Beard. And I think that was the turning point, was not only the relationship that he has with Walker Jones, because I talked with a really good friend of Chris Beard on Friday, and that's what he told me. He said, I don't think he's going to Arkansas. I think it's the relationship he has with the collective and Walker Jones and Keith Carter, and, kind of, and I'm not speaking for Chris Beard here. I think there's probably a little bit of, he feels indebted to Ole Miss for taking a chance on him and giving him the opportunity. And then look, Beard's a competitor. I mean, the guy I talked to yesterday, he was like, and this is cliche, but I believe him. He said, nobody hates losing and just completely falling flat on their face more than Chris Beard. And I
Yeah.
think I think that's part of it, where like he wants to get it right. Like he wants to hit this portal and rebuild this roster and prove to Keith Carter and the Grove Collective and to Ole Miss and to Ole Miss fans, like, hey, that was unacceptable.
And future jobs that are after him.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Woodson, wherever you are, head on a swivel. But yeah, I mean, I think that, regardless of how it happened, Ole Miss kept a head coach again when a better program came after him. So huge. I expect Ole Miss to be extremely, extremely active once this dead period is over in the portal. I've had the portal hub post going. We've added names, updated, given the latest on recruitments. You can check that out at omspirit.com. I got a running list of dudes that Ole Miss is in contact with. They're in contact with a lot of people. There was some movement over the weekend. Some conversations were had. There were some NIL discussions that had taken place. I feel like Ole Miss is in a good spot for a couple high major point guards. Again, read all that,
Which is a
omspirit.com.
glaring need.
Yes. And that's like a big thing. Like it's not just one point guard. It's not one scorer. Like you need shooters. You need knockdown dudes. Like talking with a couple people that are at the Final Four, and that was their thing. They're like, look at all these teams that are here in the Elite Eight, the Final Four, the national championship. All got shooters.
And they're deep.
You gotta have dudes that can knock down shots.
Yep.
It's all well and good if Tony Bennett, Virginia, you play defense and you score 52 points a game. Yeah, that's great when you win a national title. But when you're playing very, 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 very poor defense and the effort is bad and you're not scoring a lot, it's not going to work. So I expect Beard and them to shake things up and to get really aggressive in the portal and use that collective to its advantage.
For sure. And I've said this ad nauseum, so I'm repeating a point I've made so many times. But I really appreciate, in particular, Lane and the football staff kind of does the same thing. But Chris Beard and the Ole Miss basketball staff in particular, I really appreciate their approach to the portal, to where it is anytime somebody hops in that has any relevance to the program's needs and the holes that need to be filled, Ole Miss is in contact right away. It may not be a realistic scenario where they're going to get that player. It may not be a scenario where they want that player after really sitting down and doing their homework on it, but they are casting this wide net saying, hey, we're here, we're open for business. We have NIL money, at our back. We're ready to step up and really make big moves in the portal. So let's cast this wide net and see how many big fish we can grab before, they're all gone. So I really appreciate the way that Beard and the staff is taking the kind of modern approach to this NIL era. And that goes all the way back to what you said, and what we have said before about the Grove Collective. Like, you can't do that unless you have a confident entity behind you. You can't say, hey, we're casting this big net. We want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. We have interest in you. We have interest in you. You can't do that unless you have a confident, well founded structure behind you in the NIL space. And Walker Jones is just he's doing an awesome job over there. And hey, shout out to the listeners too. Like, this goes beyond just, the big business guys. Isn't just a single donor situation here. The Ole Miss fan base has really stepped up and rallied around a program that Ole Miss basketball wasn't something that people, it was third, fourth on the list for a very long time. And now it's up there with football. It's up there with baseball. People care. People want to win, and they've seen that you can win. And so I really it's exciting that Keith Carter has been able to do this with Beard, but then also with Lane Kiffin. You think about Ross Bjork, he probably doesn't do that. I don't think Ross Bjork is able to retain both guys the way that Keith Carter is. We talked a long time for a while about, when Ross left, oh, maybe Mike Bianco would make sense in that AD role. That could be true, and there's still an opportunity maybe to move him over to the administrative side of things, and that's a conversation for another day. But Mike Bianco would not be able to do what Keith Carter is doing. Keith Carter is a real powerhouse athletic director in a place that he is not going to leave. You're not worried about him going elsewhere. It's his alma mater. It's a place he loves, and he's doing a fantastic job. You really cannot give him enough credit for what he has done in such a short period of time. Because when you really think about it, 4, 5, 6 years in the whole landscape and the whole timeline of college sports is nothing. I mean, it's nothing. And think about what he has done with this basketball program, what he's done with the football program. Baseball's a different conversation. Women's basketball, he is winning. He's hiring big name coaches. He's doing what it takes to keep them here and to keep them in Oxford. Shout out to Keith Carter. I mean, really, incredible job here, especially keeping Beard over a program like Arkansas. And there will be people out there, we said that most people will agree that Arkansas is a better job than Ole Miss. There's going to be a lot of people who come back and say, well, no way, no way. Why would you want to go to Fayetteville? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. That's not true. Arkansas has a more prominent name, at least at this current moment in time, than Ole Miss in the basketball space. And Keith Carter really just said, no, we're doing what it takes to keep you here. And he did. Incredible job.
Probably something that isn't talked about enough is the fact that Keith Carter got all this done while hunting in Georgia with the Jordans of Realtree.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty sweet.
and look, shout out to them as they were turkey hunting and they were doing a bunch of tongue-in-cheek tweets all weekend with the beards on the turkeys. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think Keith Carter did one that said something about a double beard. And
It's pretty good.
so maybe the little NIL war chest got doubled up. But hey, now this is kind of like with Kiffin, right? Where Kiffin turned down Auburn and came back, and it's like, all right, we gave you the raise, we gave you more NIL money, we gave you more support. Now we gotta get the ROI. Like
A
we
win.
got to start winning. Ole Miss wins 11 games, wins the Peach Bowl, and the rest is history now. With Ole Miss being, arguably probably the biggest wild card in the college football playoff, with the field being expanded. I mean, it's not a fluke anymore. Like this is a legitimate program that will contend. Potentially 11 wins again, maybe in the regular season, 11 wins.
Has to be.
And then I think that's where we're at now with Beard, where it's like, all right, like, hey, we're all in with you, buddy, but like, we got to win. And like, we're not
We
talking
got to
like,
close. We got to close the season.
yeah, like we're talking like, second round, Sweet 16. Like, we need that. Like, getting to the tournament, yeah, that's a big step. Like, that's huge. Awesome. But hey, we want more than that.
Yeah.
I did see our earlier, I guess it was over the weekend. Our buddy Austin Gray found a meme. I don't know if he made it or he saw it. It was a meme of, the guy that is standing with like the little block that topples over and then the blocks get bigger. And the smallest one says, Nolan Richardson does not offer a scholarship to Keith Carter. And then the biggest one is Chris Beard turns down Arkansas. Where it's like, yeah, Keith Carter got the Hogs back in the end after
you sure did.
They passed on him when he was in high school. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a huge win for Ole Miss. Like if you're an Ole Miss fan, you got to just be pumped because again, you could argue Auburn is a better job than Ole Miss in football. I don't know. I could argue both sides there at the moment. But in basketball, no question that Arkansas is a better job right now than Ole Miss. And just a huge dub for the Rebel program, the university, and Keith Carter once again just nailing a scalp to the wall after going toe-to-toe with the Hogs there.
Well, and it's interesting too. You mentioned, Auburn, whether you can kind of talk about both sides. I think Auburn and Arkansas both. You mentioned the kind of NIL concerns and how the fan base and the boosters or whatever is divided by region and they're split and they can't pull the rope in the same direction. Case at Auburn too. That was one of the biggest concerns down there on the plains is that the Auburn boosters and the fan base and the big names behind the scenes were kind of pulling the strings in different ways and doing different things and shady stuff and Brian Harsin and all that, and kind of the same situation in Arkansas. So it's interesting that now Ole Miss is this, I guess, bastion figure of like continuity and moving as a cohesive unit, which if you had told me that 10 years ago, I would have been baffled that, Ole Miss was the poster child for, all right, we are all on the same page. We're going to do the same thing. We're thinking the same way, and we're going to do what it takes to get there. So that's a really big, win for the program and for the athletic department as a whole.
The College Corner is headed to Oxford. Stop by their new location in the Oxford Commons off Sisk Avenue. They'll have 4,000 square feet of Rebel gear ready for your trip to the Grove. On your next trip to Oxford, stop by the College Corner or our other great locations in Ridgeland and Flowood. Hats, shirts, polos, pullovers, sweats, t-shirts. College Corner has it all. And as always, you can visit us online at collegecornerstore.com. That's collegecornerstore.com. The College Corner, where your game day apparel meets.
Call Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group. He can help you with any of your health insurance needs. Drew is an Ole Miss grad located in Mississippi and licensed in 7 states. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage with access to 35 different carriers, regular health plans, to life insurance, to dental and vision, and even Medicare. He has it all covered. Now more than ever, it is critical to have a health insurance agent who is local and accessible. So call Drew Moak at 601-953-8449. 601-953-8449 and get your free quote today. Before we get to a little mini national championship preview, as that game is tonight, we do have to acknowledge Ole Miss baseball. Not great.
Speaking of Arkansas,
yeah, had some chances over the weekend. Could not get it done. Swept again. Is that 7 straight losses in the SEC or 6?
So. 7, yeah.
Quick efforting. Yeah, 7 because you lose the finale to Tennessee.
3 Kentucky, 3 Arkansas.
Back-to-back sweeps. And not to mention, you've got a midweek loss to Memphis sandwiched in there. Now, return home Tuesday, Murray State, whatever. And then you host Mississippi State this weekend. I mean, it's getting to where I think we're already at the danger zone, right? I think this is becoming a big problem. And you look at the standings right now, Ole Miss is second to last in the West. Auburn is not having a good year. 2-10. But it's crazy. I mean, the national championship curse continues as LSU is also 3-9 in the conference. But you've got Arkansas atop the West at 11-1, Kentucky 11-1.
Yeah, it's time we have a real talk about Kentucky.
27-4. But Mississippi State 6-6, 21-12 overall. I still don't know what exactly happened in their series against Georgia over the weekend. I know a bunch of people were ejected. I don't know how that will affect this weekend, but regardless of who's playing, who's eligible for Mississippi State, if you're Ole Miss, you have to win 2 out of 3.
You're at home. You'd like the sweep.
Yeah, and Ole Miss is 13-7 right now at home. State's just 2-4 on the road, so maybe that's going to play a factor. I assume it will be a big crowd. It is Grove Bowl weekend. I still think Ole Miss fans will still show up because, if anything, going to Swayze Field is a social experience for people still, where you can go and hang out and see your friends and your family and all of that. But man, I mean, you're really inching closer and closer to back-to-back losing seasons and missing the tournament. I don't really know what more can be said about Mike Bianco and this team. Look, I know the injuries to Hunter Elliott and Xavier Rivas is big. We've said that already on this show. Any team who loses their Friday and Saturday guy is going to struggle. You got to figure it out. But it's just not good. It's bad.
It's really bad. Yeah, I was looking at the D1 projections. I think it was D1 baseball. I forget. One of the projections, this was before the 3 losses to Arkansas, which, I mean, Arkansas is the #1 team in the country for a reason. They're really good. So, like, you have to give credit where credit is due. The Hogs are really an awesome team. And if they're going to get a college baseball national championship, which they still don't have, this is probably the year to do it. But Ole Miss was from what I saw, it was like the next 4 out before losing 3 games on the road to Arkansas. So if you're going to make the tournament, you need to win 2 or 3 against State. You need to probably sweep Georgia. Gotta beat Bam. I mean, it's at the point now where you really can't lose any of the remaining series when you look at this. I mean, when you just look at the schedule, right? You've got State, then you've got Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, and then you close out with Texas A&M and LSU. So you're at the point now where it's crunch time, and I think you could probably like maybe lose one of those series if you kind of sweep a couple of the others. Otherwise, you got to win the rest of the series from here on out, and that's probably not happening. So really unfortunate. It was at the point, I think the last we left it, we were joking before we hopped on. The last we left it, there was some hope for this team.
Yeah, not
I,
anymore.
I don't think so. So it's on to next
Look,
year, and you got to get healthy, and you got to figure out, how can this coaching staff, certainly Mike Bianco, how can it adapt to adversity? I think there's been a lot of issues adapting to adversity over the last few years. The magical run aside, there's been a lot of question marks about why are these pitchers in the game so long? Who's going to, matchups and things of that nature. And this year is just kind of the epitome of that. You have a really talented lineup. They're just not playing up to their full potential. And then the pitching staff is just a headache.
yeah, it's not good. All right, real quick, I guess before we get into the national championship game, you got a pick for the Masters?
Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say this because I do it every year. I think we all do it every year. It feels like Rory is due. It feels like he's due. And I know that we have this conversation on
He's
the Monday of
plus
Masters Week.
he's plus 1,000.
Yeah, but he's due. He's played well with his irons, top five finish, not winning the week before the Masters. Like it's the same narrative every single year, and it feels like he's due. But I just want to, I really think what would be really special, what I'm rooting for is Gary Woodland. I don't know if everyone out there knows the story. If you don't, just search Gary Woodland on, Twitter and watch the piece that was done by Jeff Darlington and Jen. I think it's Jen Chaffetz is her name, the producer over there at ESPN. Gary Woodland came back he had brain surgery. So if he can come back and put on that's what I'm rooting for. I would love to see Gary Woodland, be in contention on Sunday this weekend.
It seems like it's Scotty Scheffler's to lose. I mean, he defended his player's title.
Yep.
He's playing as good as anybody. First to ever defend a player's title. You got John Rahm, first major start since joining Live. So that's a storyline. You've got.
I think there's some mental, I think that's going to be in his head.
It could be. John Rahm is also very good at golf, so it may not be an issue.
That is true. He is very good at
won
golf.
it before. But yeah, four-time major winner Rory McIlroy, five-time winner Brooks Koepka, and then Jordan Spieth. Won it in 2015. He played pretty well over the weekend in San Antonio. But yeah,
I mean, stay out of the gutters.
Yeah. I see a lot of people like Koepka. He was hurt when he missed the cut in 21 and 22. If you throw those out, other 6 Masters finishes, T2, T7, T2, T11, T21, and T33. In 2023 at majors, T2, T17, T64. That's one to consider. Dustin Johnson, just a generational driver of the golf ball. He's going to be just fine at Augusta National. I think he's out there like 35 to 1. What's his mindset going to be? I feel like that's the big mental juggling act for these live guys where, yeah, they're competitors. They want to win, obviously, but you get that big check and you just kind of kick back. Can you ramp up the mental toughness? Can you ramp up the focus for Augusta National and try to win? I mean, yeah, there's no one's doubting any of these guys wanting to win. I mean, I like Tony Finau at 40 to 1. He was T5 in 2019 when Tiger Woods won it. I don't know. Is this when he breaks through and gets it done? Looking at some of the other odds here, you've got Koepka's at plus 1,100, Rahm at plus 1,200, Wyndham Clark at plus 1,500. Spieth plus 2,000. Dustin Johnson plus 3,300. Tony Finau 3,500. So those are the ones that we mentioned. Yeah, I mean it's going to be an absolute joy to watch it, no matter who wins. I know the weather, last I checked, looks pretty choice. So yeah, I'm hoping for clear skies and we'll see some good golf.
And a great Sunday afternoon nap.
Yes. All right. National championship game. We get the matchup that everybody wants. UConn, Purdue, the two teams that were number one, number two all year, basically. You got Zach Edey versus Donovan Clingan. Dude, Saturday was wild because Alabama played about as good as you could play.
Without a doubt. They gave it everything they could.
It just didn't matter. I mean, as we like to say in the gambling industry, UConn is an absolute wagon. They obliterate people. This crash course to the national title game against Purdue. They have hardly skipped a beat. They haven't really been. I mean, they were challenged by Bama on Saturday, but ended up winning by double digits. Right
Which is
now,
crazy.
Yeah. Right now, UConn minus 6.5. The total is only 144. I think that's probably in large part to Purdue wanting to slow things down and play in the half court.
Mm-hmm.
Klingen's a guy that has been really good at avoiding foul trouble all year. Is he going to be able to do that against Zach Edey, who, look, we talked about it last week. I mean, he dictates the game.
Yep.
Like he's 7-4 and he's good.
And I'll give credit. Yes, Saturday was a testament to I have been on the he is a foul merchant train, for 2.5 years now. But Saturday, he played a great game. I didn't really have any issues with the officiating. He wasn't really getting any calls that he shouldn't have been. It was a really, and I think it'll be the same against UConn. I think he's going to really buckle down and sure there'll be a call or two that maybe was on the fence, but he played really well on Saturday. He stayed out of foul trouble. He didn't draw as many fouls as he normally does, which is a testament to the officiating. And so we'll see. I mean, Clingan Edey is the matchup of the year, and I'm really excited to see, whether UConn has enough bodies to throw at Edey. Because if Clingan doesn't get it, if he does get in foul trouble, this game is Purdue's. If Clingan does not get in foul trouble, I don't see how UConn loses. Bias aside.
And look, I'll say this, in the route to this title game, I know a lot's been made about the fouls and whatnot. Zach Edey scored 140 points, grabbed 77 rebounds, and blocked 9 shots in the tournament. So that's 28 points a game, 15.5 rebounds, and almost 2 blocks per game.
Pretty good.
The number that was crazy to me, he is only out of those 140 points, only 38 are on free throws. So it's not like he's getting to the stripe 15 times every game. Like I think he only had 2 free throws in the win over NC State. So I think UConn wins. I just think they're too good top to bottom. I mean, you got 2 lottery picks in Donovan Clingan and Tristan Newton. I mean, Alex Caravan, Stephon Castle, and Cam Spencer. I mean, that's starting 5 right there. I mean, they all were in double figures against Alabama. Castle led the way with 21. Clingan had 18. They all rebound well. That's my biggest thing. I just think they're going to be too long and too athletic for Purdue in the backcourt. I think that's going to give Purdue issues. I mean, Edey's going to have like a legendary game, in my opinion.
He could.
For
He
Purdue.
absolutely could.
Yeah. First time there have been 2 7-footers in a national title game since Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing.
I didn't know that. That's a fun stat.
And I think, if I remember correctly, our guy Matt Norlander had it. I think it's the first time 7'2" or taller in a tournament game ever.
Neat.
Multiple guys playing against each other. Because there have been 7-footers obviously before, but Clingan, being 7'2", 280, and then Edie 7'4", 300. I mean, just it's gonna be
Big
fun.
fellas.
Yeah, big uglies in the paint, banging. Yeah, I'm interested to see how UConn plays it. Are they going to try? Because it's funny, as athletic and NBA-esque as that roster is, they really don't like love to get out and run like you think they would.
Yeah, but they
Like
have to
they
against Purdue.
operate well in the half court. Like the actions and the sets they run are a little bit more catered to, you know, getting set and doing things in the half court. You'd think with all the athleticism and the length that they'd love to get out and run.
Mhm.
They can, but yeah, I'm how because Purdue's going to want to really pack the paint and on both ends of the floor. So I like UConn. I just think they've been the best team all year. They're pretty much like the perfect team. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous the the roster that Hurley's put together. It's pretty
It really
phenomenal.
is. We'll see. I'm interested because Kentucky's going to call Hurley. They're going to give him a ring. I don't think he's going to leave, but it'll be an interesting. I mean, it's an interesting conversation. Would you rather stay at UConn or would you go to Kentucky? I think Hurley will probably stay at UConn. I don't think that's a huge concern.
I think,
But it's an interesting debate. UConn, Kentucky, two, quasi blue buds at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talked about it last year when UConn won. I mean, that's a power. Like that's a dynasty.
Mhm.
And especially if you go back to back, first time since Florida did it, 06, 07. I think Hurley would stay. I mean, he's always been in the Northeast. He's always been in Connecticut, New York, Jersey, Rhode Island. Like he's always up there. Not that matters. He's a good coach. He can go to Kentucky and still recruit because NIL is a thing. Like that's the regionality of coaches and where you're from. And I don't know if he'll work because he's a New Mexico guy. He's not going to work in Alabama. Like no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I guess last thing here before we get out, the names that I've heard are Billy Donovan, Nate Oates, and Scott Drew. Those are like the big three that I've heard. Which in my opinion, I think all three of those guys would be smart to take Kentucky.
Yep.
It's a better job than where those dudes are at. I mean, you could argue the NBA obviously is better than Kentucky, but is Billy Donovan wanting to get back to college? Is he over his I don't want to say hatred, but wasn't a huge fan of recruiting, but now it's a lot more like NBA.
Yeah, it is an NBA structure, and you're not recruiting a whole roster like in football. It's just 5 guys.
Yeah, so maybe Donovan wants to come back and take over the Kentucky job, which it's a top 5 job in the sport without a doubt. Yeah, I think Scott Drew would be foolish not to leave Baylor for Kentucky.
Yeah,
he's built Baylor to what it is now, but yeah, you leave for Kentucky, and same with Nate Oates. Regardless of how much success you've had there, it's a football school. You're always going to be second fiddle. And hey, look, you could argue that Kentucky might be a football school now. I mean, Mark Stoops got it made over there, but
doing what he can.
It's going to be interesting to follow this week to see how quickly Kentucky moves. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they want to wait until after tonight and call Hurley.
Give him a ring.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
give him a call. Make him say no.
Yeah,
UConn's kind of maxed out financially, but I mean, in terms of like what they can offer him. So maybe Kentucky makes an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument, and I'm not saying this is the case. I'm not saying that Hurley can't do it again. But, hey, Donovan Clingan kind of fell in your lap.
Yeah, Bristol.
He's from Connecticut. Now, that doesn't matter. Hurley can go get whoever he wants. But, yeah, I mean, when a lottery picks in your backyard.
On flag.
That's true. So, yeah, the Kentucky search will be fun to follow. Like, for those that are wondering, I do not think Beard's in the mix there. And look, in my opinion, he's probably the 8th or 9th name on that list.
Yep. but 8 or 9 people could say no. I mean, they like that. That is a possibility to where Scott Drew might be so
Yeah.
blinded by the Baylor. Dan Hurley says no. Like Nate Oates says, "Oh, I just got to a Final Four at Alabama. I like where I am." It's possible, but I think you're like we kind of both discussed beforehand. It seems unlikely.
Yeah. As Kevin Garnett says, anything is possible. Um, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on that just because it's SEC adjacent. It's certainly fascinating. Kentucky is, upper echelon college basketball royalty. So whoever is going to take that job is going to be front page news. That's the joke that everybody's making. Like Jeff Goodman, our friend of the program, was like, we've got Purdue versus UConn, Zach Edey versus Donovan Clingan, Painter versus Hurley. The game that everyone wants for Final Four for the national championship, and the biggest story is John Calipari.
It's true.
Like it's truly wild. So Monday night will be fun. Stay up late, watch the game. It'll be a doozy. I'm hoping for a good one. I don't want to blow out.
I don't know a world where it is a blowout, which is kind of encouraging. I do think it should be a good game.
Yeah, I feel like Purdue's style will make it to where it can't be a
good point.
But yeah, we'll have coverage of the portal. Stay locked in, omspirit.com. We have the hub going. We've been updating that list, so stay locked in there. We've got college football recruiting. Ole Miss got a commitment on Sunday from Talib Graham. Big pickup there for the defensive line class in 2025. So yeah, we'll have more coverage of that, of baseball. We've got podcasts all week, so stay locked in. We got you covered. Appreciate College Corner making this one possible each and every day, and appreciate Grayson hopping on. Grayson, good luck to your Huskies this evening. And for him over there, I'm Zach. This has been the Flagship. Talk to y'all later.